broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah, it's new. Juanes! I love this song.
Oh, I feel like we should be dancing.
Yeah, we started. Should we get up? I feel like if I got up with the chord,
would do the hands,
I can actually salsa really well.
Yeah, the salsa hands. Okay, that's it.
The salsa's better than Spanish. I do salsa better than I can speak Spanish.
Well, that's good. I eat salsa. Spanish. But hey, this is Madison Chase, and this is AfterBuzz TV, and thank you if you're listening on iTunes. And this is for Jane the Virgin on the CW, the pilot episode. And the reason why I wanted to do this show is because I'm a real virgin.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that I was saving that. Yep. Yeah,
what?
Really and truly. That's
and how old, if I may ask?
What did you say? I can't hear. My mic is going out.
Don't worry, y'all. She's 30 plus.
I'm seasoned.
That's all you have to worry about.
Wow.
So yeah, Madison Chase, your trainer to the stars and the star in you, because I feel like there is power in your choices, and one of the choices that I've made is I'm a no sex till marriage expert, and I'm excited to talk about this show, and my co-hosts are, go ahead.
Hey y'all, I'm Stephanie Giorgi. I'm excited to talk about the show because we just wrapped up doing MTV's Virgin Territory, so this is a nice transition into a new Virgin show. But we have two new ones joining us.
I'm Kristin Strange.
And I'm Giselle Ugarti, but for the purposes of tonight, I'll spice it up. Giselle Ugarte. Not a virgin.
What? Can you spice my name up a little bit?
Kristina. Kristina is the Oprah of like the Hispanic culture. So
And she's blonde.
I will
She's
take
blonde.
that.
Yeah,
We're twins.
You're Cristina Strani.
Okay, what about Madison? I need a Latin spicy name. Madison.
You already have a
That's a
connection
little
to
French.
the show.
Oh,
that's
It is. You could just be like medicina, and you're like the medicine of our love.
Okay,
The
I
love
like
medicine.
That. I like that. I like that. Okay, so let's talk about this show. I really liked it. At first, I didn't think I was gonna like it because I'm like, there's no way you can get artificially inseminated with somebody's sperm. And then the interesting thing is, somebody actually suggested that. They were like, Madison, you're still single, so have you thought about getting artificially inseminated? I was like, no, that wouldn't feel right because
You should do that before you have sex.
yeah, I'm like, then it would be, my vagina would be all stretched out.
Right?
Like,
And they're
that
going to
would
be
be
like,
no good.
you lying. You had sex before. No, but I had a baby, but just listen. Right?
See, my mom would be like Samira, and actually my mom's name is Xiomara too, which is kind of funny, but she'd be like, oh, you haven't had sex but you have a baby? Like, ay Dios mío.
So your mom would have been like her mom was.
Oh,
100%.
100%.
Really?
100%, yeah.
Okay, that's totally true. Okay, yeah. That's how my mom would be.
I would have
She'd be
gotten
like,
slapped in the face. She'd be like, you're lying. I'm like,
I swear.
I think my mom would just be so excited to be a grandma. She wouldn't even care.
I
about
know.
that.
Yeah, my mom would be
She's like,
too.
I don't care, you're a virgin, you're not a virgin, and
Who
you made a
cares?
baby.
Let's just come here.
Go with that.
Come here,
let's
baby.
go with that.
Yeah, my mom is there too. She's like, we have 3 dogs, so she's like my grand doggies. I'm like, oh, that's so sad. It's time for my mom to get some real grandbabies. So my clock is ticking. Okay, so let's talk about the opening of the show. It starts with Jane, and she goes to the doctor, right?
Well, she's with her grandmother
She's with
and
her
her mom.
grandmother.
Does
Okay.
anyone have a grandmother like that? Did you guys have strict grandmothers?
I had strict aunts and uncles, and I think my mom really did it for me as far as the pura rosa thing kind of
She
goes.
did that
She
for
didn't
real?
do that, but there were definitely a lot
Kind
of
of.
comparisons to roses, the Virgin Mary.
wow.
My brothers went to this school called St. Therese, and there's like a whole rose story with her,
Mm-hmm.
but not to the extent. There wasn't someone who I was afraid of in my
Okay.
culture.
So in
to
the-
like stay pure.
in the Latin culture, so your grandmom kind of did something similar to that?
My mom.
Your mom did?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Stephanie, what about you?
My grandmother from my paternal side, she was much like that. She was very like elegant and like she looked like Elizabeth Taylor, classy woman,
Wow.
and would just say these things. But sometimes that would frustrate me. My mother is very realistic. So is my father. So we always talked about it. But it was just always, just wait for marriage, just that's it. I don't know. It wasn't like, you'll never get it back and like nothing frightening. It was just a constant reminder. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, we just didn't talk about it.
That was my house too.
It's
We
like
didn't talk about
if
it.
you don't talk about it, it's not
It
going to happen,
doesn't
right?
exist.
And yet you made that decision for yourself.
Right?
Well, you know what? I grew up in church, so part of the decision was kind of already like
Embedded in you?
Yeah, it was embedded in me. It was like, okay, one thing you don't do, you don't have sex until you get married. I'm like, okay, I don't know what it is, but I could check that box. I could do that. I could wait. I was like, okay, so it worked. But yeah, so the flower, I thought that was a really good analogy of like squeezing the flower. So
It'll never unravel.
it'll never,
Be beautiful
Fair.
again. And she stuck to it though, because in the next scene we see her with Michael, and they're getting hot and heavy. There's moaning, there's sweating,
Got that flower.
there's tongues flapping around.
No, the best part is when the little pedal fell. She's like, we have to stop. I would have stopped too. I was like, oh my God, it's already falling apart.
We're getting too close to it. Too close.
the pedal's gonna be ruined. Yeah, so I like that. That's really cool. I think that Michael, so they've been dating for 2 years, right?
And haven't slept
Exactly.
And
together.
I don't know if I believe that 2 years, because I'd be like 6 months to a year. And the question is he, I know they reveal it later that there's something bad happening or he did something bad. So I wonder if the something bad is he's been getting it on the side.
I'm wondering too.
Prostitute.
I feel like the brother made it more intense.
Yeah.
I want to say that it's going to have to do with like moral issues, not so much sex.
Sex,
I mean, it
okay.
possibly could be thrown in there kind of.
I got you.
However, I have to say that I love the character Michael. He was on the show Ravenswood that was canceled. That was on ABC Family, but it was really good. So I'm happy he got picked up on that. And I love that pairing because you just... I love like biracial.
Biracial. I wonder why. Stephanie, why do you
And
like
I
that?
liked his
What?
brother.
I do too. You like his brother?
He was so hot.
The brother?
Kristen, is that like the bad boy
I hope
thing?
he comes back.
I mean, he's definitely coming back. We saw him in the previews,
Like,
but
I hope he's a bigger part.
I don't know.
He's way hotter than Michael.
Than Michael, you
Yeah.
think? Is
I
it
think
the bad boy?
I think Michael's hot. Also, I think he's very adorable. I just think
Okay.
his brother's hotter.
I was all about Raph.
So is
And
so
I'm
is
sorry
Marcus
for
for
saying that.
Yeah.
Sarah, if you're watching, that's her brother. My friend's brother is actually Justin Baldoni.
Oh, okay.
So I don't, and he's married too. But he was the one who I was like, I love the tall, dark, and handsome.
too.
And I'm totally in the back of my mind rooting for them to
Me
reconnect.
too. I am
That's
too.
happening.
Yeah, it is happening. I still think it's happening.
It made me sad though because I guess for the exception of the secret that Michael has, I really liked that couple also. But
Yeah, no, I did too, and I thought that they would have made very pretty babies on their own.
But I like that we're seeing that Ralph, or so later we find out in the episode that he had cancer before, and that he was a dog or whatever. So I do like this bit of I guess that he has this transition and isn't the same way. And I don't know, it seems nice.
Now, did they reveal that he had, I know he owns a hotel and he had money. So when they actually met for the first time, I can't remember what scene that was, when they actually
It
met.
was later.
The yacht club.
We find out afterwards when she has to, when she finally explains it to him, but that's like after she's been inseminated.
Okay, so
Okay, so you are the father.
Okay, you are the father. You are not the father. But yeah, so let's talk about that. So she goes to the doctor office, and the doctor
For a routine pap smear.
for a pap smear. And I have a really bad story about that, but go ahead. So she goes to the doctor, and the doctor, what does the doctor do? She artificially...
The doctor, because what's funny is that the night prior, where we kind of see the rest of the characters that are in the show, which shout out to our last guest,
Johan.
He had his little line there.
Yes.
we saw you, Johan. But when we see her in her work environment, she sees the new owner and then is reminded of what happened to them before, but we don't know yet. And then she goes to the past. Oh yeah, but then we also see Ralph talking to his sister, and she's trying to give these words of motivation, and then she has to go home after saying like you should leave your wife or whatever to
she
see
was right
her
to say
wife.
that.
She
Yep.
was. Thank goodness.
Yeah, someone's got to say it.
Especially after what happened
Yeah.
later, which I did not see or expect. So I guess the Dr. Alver is she walks in on her wife with her assistant.
I
So she's
almost
all just.
cried for her.
Yeah.
Did you?
That sucked so
The
bad.
worst feeling in the world.
She seemed so nice, and you didn't deserve that.
No
Right.
one deserves that.
Of course
agree.
not. Yeah,
To walk in.
And
so
with
she's
her
distraught the
assistant
next day. I
in her
know.
own bed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Didn't you
That's
know she
the
was
worst
coming
part.
home?
Well, not even that. It's for me. My thing is always
All
like,
of the
if you're
above.
gonna cheat, like, why would you do it in
In
our
your
house?
house.
Yeah.
I mean,
think that's
Like,
what
talk
most
about no
people do.
respect.
yeah, not to condone
Word.
cheating,
Yeah.
but do it somewhere
Yes.
else.
At
Like
least give
in
me
your
that.
car or in a
In a
hotel
car.
or in the bathroom of a bar. I mean, there's options.
Yes.
I agree.
You don't
with
have to
Kristin.
do it in your wife's bed.
Yeah, I totally agree.
not
But I
okay.
think that's normally why when you have an assistant, they shouldn't be hot. They should just be, like, an assistant, the nanny.
Well, we didn't
Right.
see the assistant, so
Okay.
what if it was like a male?
I know,
No,
that's
no,
what I was just
No,
wondering.
she was in her bed with her assistant. With her. Oh, I guess you're right.
She just
didn't
said
specify
assistant
it.
because I was thinking, oh my god, what if it's a guy?
And then you never
And
would have
then-
saw it
and
coming.
You know,
And
for a
that's
lot
also
of gay couples,
worse.
it's worse. I hear that
Yeah.
for the same way it is for straight people. Like if you get cheated on for the other way, they're like, wait, what?
That's interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, because okay,
Because
this
it's a different level of jealousy.
It is because
Yeah.
you can't compete with that.
Exactly.
So-
She's like, well, I don't have a.
She'll
I don't
always
have
have that
that.
extra longing for something else.
Yes, that's so true. Okay, so this is totally off topic, but Bow Wow and Erica Mena, so that's kind of like they actually got engaged, but on Love and Hip Hop in, New York.
Oh, okay.
She was actually dating a woman initially. So
really?
now she's engaged to a
man.
guy. I'm like, that is so interesting to
can
me.
Is
go-
she from the East Coast? Because that's like
Yeah,
common.
she's
Oh, I know so
that's
many
common
girls
on
who
the
are
East-
bi. Yes.
Really?
I was gonna say she
it's
can
like
go
a
both
fad
ways,
out there.
as long as she's upfront with him about it.
Right.
As long as she's not
Because
like, I'm gonna
apparently
be a
women do.
lesbian. And,
There's
Yeah.
a double standard that some people
is.
don't think
I
you
agree.
can be both. Some
Yeah.
people think it has to be one or the other.
I just think that you have fun doing one thing and you want the other.
But you know what doesn't make sense to me?
Do what you
like,
wanna do.
Yeah,
Or
do what
there's the
you want
head,
to do.
there's the head and the heart and the below the belt and different desires. And it's
Right.
just a matter of which one you decide to feed into.
But I just
I
thought
like
was
that. There's
interesting.
the head, the heart, and below the belt.
But
That's
the head-
it.
That's the morning.
2 out of 3, 3 out of 3, who knows? But you know.
Okay, so
Anyway.
the doctor artificially inseminates her, and after that, she has a lot of choices to think about. Because shortly after that, doesn't Michael propose to her, which I think
Like
is
right
interesting.
It was right after.
Right when she found
yeah,
out.
right when she found out. So she goes to his house and they're about to have dinner, or they were supposed to go out to dinner, right? And I thought this was really sweet. He actually invited both of their families because he actually planned.
Right.
I thought she would
Yes.
say yes, and her mom kind of hinted at it early in the episode, right? Because she was
okay.
like, he's going to propose, I think he's going to propose, he's getting all mushy because they just merged their calendars.
I didn't know what that meant, and like I guess it's it's like on your phone.
It's
You like
your
send them
iPhone?
your
iCal.
calendar. Yeah.
Really? Oh, that's why he wrote enjoying your calendar?
I
Yeah.
know. I need
Oh,
my
that's
boyfriend to do that so we
cute.
can like get on the same page.
That'd be, if I ever had a man who was like looking out for me that way, I'd be like, "You're so cute. Don't tell me what to do."
You would do the hand.
I know. I didn't mean to. I was like, "Bring it back, Steph. Bring it back."
Be nice about it. But I didn't know that. Is that an iPhone app?
I think so. I
Okay.
wrote
Something
it down
on
to look into
iCal or
that.
Google
I'm gonna
calendars
tell
or
her
something.
that. Oh, maybe it is a Google
Yeah.
calendar because I know.
Ooh, HTC One. Sorry. Sorry, we have to Google
I'm
everything on
gonna
that.
get the iPhone.
I think it's so crazy though that this actually happened and she ended up getting pregnant because my mom's friend got pregnant and she was like, "Oh, it's because the last time you came in, you thought you got your Depo shot and we actually gave you a flu shot." And I was like, Are you kidding me? That's a lawsuit.
I was going to say, did she sue?
No, and I was like, my mom's like, it's okay, she's happy about it. And I'm like, who cares?
Wow, so
She
that
wasn't
really could
trying-
happen,
Right? It's real life. This is not just fake anymore.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Which, while we're talking about the mix-up, we should also probably bring up the fact that Petra heard her husband
Right.
talking about how he wanted a
Yeah.
divorce.
So she was gonna get
She's
pregnant.
out to get this 5-year, $10 million prenup
Okay. Yep.
while sleeping with his friend,
Yes.
Roman. So
Which is-
hopefully that would mean that she
Oh,
wouldn't get
that's
the
his
prenup.
name?
And
Love that name.
so
That
then,
sucks.
you know, she
it for you.
is
Nephew's
wanting
name.
to surprise him with a baby. Didn't even tell
She didn't
him
even
because
tell
she
him?
went out to get his sperm.
I don't know if it was a surprise, more as a trap.
Oh,
No, it was a
total.
trap, but it's so
An
funny to me
attack.
that she goes, "I wanted it to be romantic."
With a fortune cookie
I
or
love
something.
finding out that you unfroze my sperm through fortune
Yes.
cookies.
Right. I mean, it's
that's nice.
unfortunate that it's the only one that he had because of his chemo.
And why did he only have one? Wouldn't you do like a bunch? Like, isn't it easier for guys to, sorry with the hand gestures, I couldn't help myself.
yeah.
Isn't it easier for guys
That's what happens,
than
though.
to do egg retrieval, to do
He could have gotten like 3 in one day.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it was.
1 hour?
Well, you
Yeah.
know, but that could be possibly in the writing.
Yes,
I
of
feel
course.
like when you're
Yes.
when you're like going to the sperm bank and
Of course.
giving your sperm, there's a lot more sperm than there
Right.
are eggs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that the show is based on a telenovela.
Right.
In which case, it's supposed to be dramatic and crazy and twisted, which is why I love
Is it really? It's like a Betty. Is it like an Ugly Betty then? Because Betty La Fea originated.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I love
didn't know that.
everybody. I thought that was a really good show.
But I did love how her favorite telenovela star like showed up in the room to give her advice.
Oh, and that it later becomes her father. That's nuts.
crazy.
That's
I love
creepy.
it. But you know what? It makes sense. It could happen because it was like her mom.
It's like a connection
Yeah,
thing.
it's like a connection.
And now I know why when they were watching the novela, the mom, why was she was like waiting to see Jane's reaction, and she was like looking at both of them. Did you see? I didn't know why she was being weird about it. I was like, let him watch a novela. You swear like you don't live with them and they don't do this all the time. But no, she like saw that, and so that's why I don't know. But the look that she gave, I was like, there's something up, but I don't know why, and why does he keep coming up?
She's like fantasizing about him though, like, oh, he's so dreamy. Like, that's your dad now. I'm sorry.
I think it's more. It was probably just more like this
She
grand
wants that.
person, and because she doesn't have a father,
That's true.
that it was a father figure, and
hope.
then whoa,
Yeah.
you are nuts.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so let's talk about Jane, and we talked about Raphael. I really like him. Raphael's character. He seems like, so I like kind of how they reintroduced, like she was like, I met you when she went to tell him, or did she go? She went to go
She
tell
went to go
him.
see the manager because he
called
knew.
her.
No, because doctor said, "Oh, she works for you," and then he called her
wants her.
over, and then she's like, "I'm sorry for calling you a jerk," and he's like, "I'm the father."
And she's like, what?
What? Oh, that was.
And then she's like, oh man, my decision just got harder.
yes, exactly.
So you saw that, like you saw
Oh, of
like
course.
her kind of thinking about, wow, what could have happened? Because I like how they actually met with the grilled cheese sandwich, and she actually remembered 1/3 whatever, 1/3 whatever, and 1/3 whatever. I couldn't remember.
Because
all those
grilled
cheeses.
cheese is her thing.
Yeah.
That they
Oh,
made that
that's her
clear on the
cheese.
show.
Oh, okay. I don't eat cheese.
He was her
Not
what
that
if.
much.
You know, everyone has their
The
what
one
if
that got
thing
away.
that you need to get out of the way.
Right? And you know what? And this is horrible to say, but one, I'm sure it's already a hard decision to. Well, and it is.
Yeah.
To do
Terribly
that,
hard,
to make
yeah.
that decision. And then two, to find out that it's the owner of a hotel where you're gonna have
like
security, where
child
he's
support
fine,
forever.
where you had a
And-
moment before,
Yeah, someone
and
that
it wasn't
you
your
had a
fault. You didn't
crush
trap him,
on.
and he's asking to keep it. Oh my God! Of course.
But see, that's the thing.
Yeah,
That's the
anything.
difference between, I keep wanting to call her Jane and Petra, is that Petra, that's the first thing she would think about, whereas Jane is thinking about her mom, her grandmother, her fiance,
Exactly.
and
Her
all
unborn
of that.
child.
Yeah.
Which, that's why she's so lovable.
Yeah.
And the actress that plays her is so lovable.
adorable.
Yeah.
Everything from her smile to her body
smile,
type,
her laugh,
to
everything.
her laugh, the way
Because
that
she's
she
so
carries
real,
herself.
she's genuine. It's someone that this would happen to someone like that. It's being more realistic. Not like, I'm sure in the novela, she was probably a bombshell because that's typical in novelas and everything. But not that she isn't, but it's just like there's something so endearing about her.
She's like the girl next door.
Yeah, and when she
Yeah.
showed up with the yellow dress.
Yes, with the flower
And
in her
you guys,
hair.
like, I love that he was like, wow, because that was beautiful.
Yeah.
You said this would happen to her. What did you guys think about the scene with her mom and with her when she's talking about like I do everything right?
That was
this
I got
body.
emotional, especially because she had to say no. But you had a baby because you were irresponsible. You were irresponsible. You're
16.
responsible. I did everything I could. This is
Yeah.
different and
Yeah.
whatever. And she had every right to say that, and it was true. However, I do love that her mother didn't put her grandmother in that position to say. Like, she didn't have to say it, and she was being selfless, and that made it so much better, and I think ultimately made Jane's decision easier to keep the baby.
Yeah.
And I love how her mom, she did bring the pill or the pills. I don't know if it's a pill or a pills
Yeah.
thing. And she said, "I'll support you no matter what." She didn't even try to like put her
persuade her.
down or to
Right.
persuade her. And she, we don't know what their relationship was like before this, but that was like a very mature, like, okay, you're being a mom here. You're not being my friend
Finally.
Right.
who's like
Yeah.
texting people
Right.
and picking up the guys on the bus and dancing around in a sparkly dress, which she looked banging in that. Don't get me
She
wrong.
did.
But she
I love her.
finally
Yeah.
was just, I'm here for you.
And I appreciate what she said. She's like, I just know that having all of your options there makes the decision easier. And I think she's right, because I would imagine to make it harder is just because then you have to make the appointment, you have to talk about it. Like, there's a lot that you have to, you know what I'm saying? And it just messes with your mind. And so to just be like, okay, either I'm going to keep it or, you know, in the privacy of my own home, that's it.
I'm going to take these pills. Yeah, that is a hard decision because I couldn't even imagine. I don't know what I would do if I were.
Especially because you didn't have sex yet. That honestly, I think that would be my biggest deal. Like,
But you know what?
if it was an accident, it was an
You never
accident.
have to think about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I feel like even if I'm like, oh, I took birth control and I used a condom and I did all this, and I was like, oh my God, what if I got pregnant?
Right.
So it's like, I think, oh my God, what would I do? Like, what would I name my child? I was like, I mean,
Right.
But like, you think about like what would happen, whereas she hasn't had to think about that. 'Cause she's like, I haven't had sex, so I don't have to think about what would happen if I got pregnant, like with this guy or this guy.
And she had a timeline.
Yeah.
Didn't they have like a
She
time?
said that.
Did they call it a timeline?
She did. She said, what about
So,
our
and she's
timeline?
like, what
for
about
the
a
beginning?
timeline? She wanted to get her, teaching degree, license, whatever it is. She wanted to get married and then kids. So it wasn't even on her radar at all.
To even get pregnant.
Well, and
Or
she's
or
young. Do we
engaged.
even know how old she is? That's
Yeah,
what I was
that's what I
wondering.
was trying to figure out,
Because
too.
at first, seeing
I
the
wanna say
previews, I thought she was in
23.
high school.
Got it too.
And then we saw when it started, I saw her picture of her graduating high school. It's like, okay, she's graduated, but she still lives with her parents. Which
Well, that's kind of normal.
Yes.
Sometimes.
That's not kind of. That's extra normal.
I didn't know if
extra
that.
normal.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a thing. I lived out at 17. I was like, God.
That was normal when she was sleeping with her mom. For a second, I thought they shared the bed. I was like, oh, yes, of course. Of course. Absolutely.
So it's a Latin thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Latinos, they're like, okay, I'm in my mid-20s. Oh, I've never not said my age. I think
That's okay, mid-20s. Okay, so it's there.
so. I'm in my mid-20s, and if I lived in San Diego still, my father's exact words would be, Stephanie, ¿por qué vas a gastar dinero? Which is,
Oh, that
why are
sounds
you
so
going to
pretty.
waste money? Stay in the house. Be smart. Invest your money in this. Save for this and do that. Don't be stupid. And like, they'd be like, okay, fine. I'll stay
See,
in the
my
house.
parents would be like, "There's a great apartment down the street.
Yeah.
Do you need help moving? Like, do you want us to get you some dishes or a couch? What do you need?"
I know even my parents, they lived with my mom's parents for at least 3 years after they got married to save up money.
To buy a house. That makes sense. I would still do that too. And I'm not going to say I'm Latin, but maybe I'm part Latin. I would
You
totally-
ethnic girl. It's them ethnic people.
You like salsa?
Yeah, I do like salsa, but I would totally stay at home with my mom if I lived in Texas.
I
would
think
totally
you're
stay.
completely Latina at heart.
Yeah, and I still sleep with my mom when I go home. I sure do.
Yeah. So do I. I'm like, Mom, scratch my back.
Yeah,
Nothing like mama's hug.
I know, right? Yeah, so I like that.
We love you, moms.
I know, right?
Yeah. That relationship was interesting too, because I don't know if I would have been able, and she didn't want to say it. She didn't want to say, I didn't want to be like you. I don't want to
Yeah.
be like you. That's a hard conversation. But I think most mothers want their daughters to do better.
Yeah.
And be better. And so you kind of get the feeling that that's what's happening in that interaction.
Yeah, it's just difficult because I know that she's in the position to say, I don't want to be like you. However, I'm the reason why you are you.
Yeah.
You know? However, it does stem with her being irresponsible and younger, but she now that she found out that she's the one who chose to keep it, it's like, what are you going to say?
Yeah.
It was either your life or hers, and she chose yours.
chose
so
yours, yeah.
And then we had that moment with the grandmother saying, well, you're the best thing that ever happened
I
to
know.
me.
I love that
So
part.
good.
I'm
Yeah.
glad
Me
you said
too.
that.
And
Yeah.
then she, Jane, mentioned how she derailed her mom's life. But you look at their relationship, and if anything, I feel like she kept her mom from derailing even more because
Right.
you saw
That's
that
true.
scene when she was telling to her mom, oh, who's the father? And she's like, oh, some random guy or something like that. And, you look at her now and, yeah, she's still trying to pursue a dream, but, she could be the, alcoholic absent
Right,
mom
exactly.
who's never there. And, it could
I
be
feel
worse.
like Jane probably takes care of her mom a lot. She's
sure.
one of those like
Responsible.
children, the
Yeah.
children adults
Right.
who took care of her growing up more than she probably should have. But that probably, she probably resents her. I would say she resents her a little bit, but that's probably why their relationship is so close, because she's so used to just taking care of her mom. Like her mom was sleeping in her bed. Like, that's normal. Take care of mom.
Yeah.
Tuck her in.
I think it's absolutely that way also. I like that. To be perfectly honest, how refreshing was this show? I think it was all the dynamics in the, like, with all the characters are nice. I feel like I already know most of it, so I've gotten attached, where a lot of pilots or new series, you have to watch like 3 episodes to even to try to get invested, and they have to throw so much in one. This one, it was one basic topic, and I was pulled.
And a lot going on.
Yeah.
Totally.
Especially now that, like, I hate someone on the show. It's like even better. I'm like, Petra, girl, ooh.
You're going down.
And just to bring this back up, I'm so mad that his homie was the one that's like, I think that you're underestimating her. And it's because he's like, oh, that money's gonna be my money.
Yeah.
So wait, could you guys figure out what was going on when Michael was spying on them? Like, do we know what he does or
He's
what
a detective, or like a
doing,
detective in
or
training.
the purpose for him doing that? Who he's working for?
He said, "I'm gonna be a detective."
Yeah.
Like he said, "I'm not a detective yet." When he proposed, she said something about, "Oh, I'm gonna be a detective. I'm not yet."
Okay.
So he's probably doing interning work.
Yeah,
I'm
or
assuming
like
that
an
it's
assistant detective.
Roman is the dude's name, the best friend or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that he's involved in something illegal, and which falls into the category of trying to like
get the money
from Raph and
Petra.
everything, and then and
Get
Petra
the money
and all
from
of it.
Raphael
Exactly.
to get the money from Petra to use in his illegal dealings.
So yeah, she almost deserves that though.
So many layers.
If she's gonna try
Yes.
and wait to divorce her husband, or I don't think she even plans on divorcing him, because if you're gonna have a kid with them,
I don't know.
Child
It's so weird, but
support.
it's so weird to see, like, and it's true that type of woman exists, and for
Absolutely.
her to sleep with a man earlier that day and then gets like so quickly while naked in the bed with someone else is like, okay, well, let me tell you what to do, this and that. Still feeling like she deserves the right to say that.
Yeah.
And then it also bothers me because she slapped him when he said, I think that's also why you did that. Why would you slap him? Because you got
She was
caught?
right.
Because
totally
he
right.
because he called you out.
Yeah.
And she did. She was just, oh man, just what an entitled person.
I like that he called her out though.
Me too,
she
because he
does
knew exactly that was the reason why.
I love how, and I think one of the reasons why we're so invested is that every single character has different conflicts going on, and they're all intertwined with each other, but it's very clear what the conflicts are. And, you know, I think some of that is exhibited in a little bit of cheese. You know, it's a little cheesy, but
well, I was gonna
love
say
about it.
no, but yes, exactly, because everybody likes a little bit of corny.
Yeah.
These are all conflicts that we've seen before, probably in other episodes, but they're brought into a new light. Like, you know, not normally do we have a show that's so like heavily Latino where it's just the 3 women living in that house, that there isn't a father there, and not that that's typical because whatever, but yeah, it's just
I
a
love the
situation
narrator
like that.
too, by
the
the way.
narrator is perfect. The entire feel of it. I mean, the Juanes, the
think-
song that we started with, that was cool too.
Yeah, that
It's
was
just
cool.
very
Yeah.
I
I think the narrator is actually her dad. Her biological dad.
Oh, it
when
might-
I
yeah.
Googled it.
Let
His
me-
name is Jaime Camille, and he actually is a like a pop star, singer, host. He's Mexican and Brazilian.
oof.
Right. And he actually is the narrator, if I'm not mistaken. Are you Googling it?
I will IMDb.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see who else comes on the show. Hopefully, we can bring y'all some guests.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
there might be one on the works actually, but
Yeah.
there's not a confirmation for it. So just
Yeah.
be heads up. And actually, while we're talking about this, y'all, this is a brand new show. Don't forget to go on iTunes and rate us,
Yes.
because the more that you comment, whether it's good or bad, it's easier for us to search on podcasts. We'll come up, and on YouTube, make your comments. Again, good or bad, we want to talk
and then
to
we
you.
get more guests.
Yes, exactly.
And if it's not good, tell us why it's not good so we can
We'll
fix
fix
it.
it.
And
Right.
then give us 5 stars.
And tell us who you want to see.
So it looks
Absolutely.
like Jaime Camille is the soap opera person,
Yeah.
but the narrator
It's not
is
him?
not him.
Okay.
It
Daniel Hernandez,
is
I'm just kidding.
Anthony Mendez. So
Oh,
almost.
Anthony- Oh, okay, that was cool.
And it doesn't, his face does not look like one that we've seen.
I'm sure that it's
Really?
just
So I
a-
think it is a strict voiceover thing.
Oh, that's interesting.
But it will be interesting to see how both characters
Yeah.
develop. and the season has been picked up. So.
Right?
So it's been picked up because when you look on IMDb, it only has like 5 episodes. So maybe
They haven't shot the next 6 yet.
Oh, that's really good. Because I was like, why is Jane only in 5 episodes? That doesn't make sense.
No,
But
yeah.
now
Now
it's a test run.
It's a test
and
run.
now they're like,
And
okay,
it
we like you.
passed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right, dude. It's been so good, and I see it everywhere too.
Yeah.
Her advertisement and everything. Sorry, y'all. Our show is about to be it right now.
My favorite
so
part
good.
What's your favorite
was
part?
when she was a mermaid.
Oh,
That was the best part. She was a mermaid with champagne. I was like, Jane,
and
why do you
shells.
look so
Yeah, I was on the
Jane, why do you look so unhappy? That's my dream job.
That's I know, right? To pour drinks.
What do you
To be a mermaid.
Being a mermaid.
All I ever wanted to do was to flip my
Yes.
thing.
and she was swimming so
So
well.
I was like, I always play that game in the pool. Let's swim
Yeah.
like mermaids.
Dolphins.
No lie, my sister did that last weekend. She was like, we were in a pool and she was, yeah, and she's like 26. She was like, this is how I would swim if I was a mermaid. I was like, and she was like, I've been practicing this for a while.
Girls will always stay the same and want their fancy type
mermaids.
things.
Yeah,
But
remember.
she was doing really well, flapping that fin, getting all the way over
I wonder
there.
if she practiced on doing that. Was
Maybe
it
it was
really
someone
her?
else.
It
Okay, I
wasn't
was
her,
gonna
yeah.
say, was it a stunt
Someone
double?
with mermaid swim training.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or a really good
okay.
tail.
Or a really good job.
A mermaid.
We're
tail.
getting like we're breaking this down for y'all.
I
Just
know.
so you know.
But that was just my favorite.
There's a
part.
little girl in my apartment building that has one, and she goes down to the pool in it. And there are times when I'm tempted to be like, "Can I put that on?"
Right.
It's
Wait, she
probably
has
like
a mermaid
kid's.
tail?
Yeah.
She has a
can buy
mermaid
those?
tail?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
she's like
Unfortunate
seven.
for us,
She's like
yeah.
this teeny little thing. So like I think maybe my calf would fit in it, and like that's it. But
It'd be a flipper for
Yeah.
One on each.
That would be. They'd probably be really good for your
next
core.
week we're gonna come in and wear those.
You can show some video.
I'll get a video of me.
Yeah, I think that'll be nice.
Get an Amazon of those.
Let us know if you want us to.
Yeah, have we?
Send me a
talked-
link to a mermaid tail if you want to see it.
You can probably find it on eBay. You can find everything on
Mm-hmm.
eBay. But we haven't really talked about Raphael. What do you think his backstory is? I feel like we need to talk about. Maybe it's just because he's good looking.
Well, he's a
I
cancer
love him.
survivor, and I think he used to be a real
Douchebag?
Douchebag, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I
Playboy.
could say
Playboy.
that. He used to be a douchebag, and then he got cancer, and he kind of like saw the light.
Reality check.
Yeah, it was
Reality
like, oh
check.
wow, this is what I should be living my life for.
Yeah.
And then when we saw Petra say, "Oh, I was with you through your cancer,"
When you were sick. Yeah.
and so I think that's why he thinks that he
She's the
stayed
one.
with her as long as he has. And
Oh,
He feels a
absolutely.
little bit indebted to her.
He said that to her. He
Yeah.
said, and I think that you knew that was part of the
Yeah.
reason why I didn't do it right after it happened. Which is unfortunate because when you're in a position where you need someone and that person's there,
Yeah.
not to mention you already married them, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
Ugh.
what happens when you do have like a near life experience that puts everything into perspective for you and you're like, oh my God, I'm not in love with my wife.
Yeah.
And he was probably he was a douchebag when he married her.
Exactly,
So they
so
matched.
it was
And
different.
now he's
They
kind
turned
of
out to
He's a
change
different
each
person.
other.
That's
He's a different
interesting.
person.
See,
And
I
so
was
now-
like,
She just broke that down, y'all.
Yeah,
Kristen
yeah,
just
yeah,
broke
yeah.
that down.
yeah.
really great with relationships. Not my own.
You have a boyfriend, so it sounds like you're good with it.
Oh yeah, sometimes. We'll see.
You're
For
stepping on
now.
your race. Yeah. But that's an interesting perspective. Because I think when you have some kind of illness, it does make you see a different perspective on life. And
Oh, sure.
yeah, and how you deal with people, especially the people that you love. Like you feel like, I don't want to waste time.
Yeah.
So I want to love the people that I'm with and not kind of go through the motions of that. But yeah, I don't like Petra either.
I think it'll be interesting to see if something happens between Jane and Raph while he's still married and while she's still in a relationship. Because they seem like they're good,
Yes.
but, you know, is that okay? Is that acceptable? Because we see that a lot in television where, you know, for example, like Scandal. I don't know if you guys watch that.
Yes, I do.
But, like, here's this strong power woman having a relationship with a guy with an affair, and yet people are cheering for it. And it's like, no,
know.
it's still infidelity.
Yeah.
You would
That's
not
true.
want to have the shoe on the other foot.
Yeah.
Like, does not work that way.
We'll see. Hopefully the writers will make it as realistic as possible. Like, I'm excited to see what kind of dialogue is going to happen because all of this is going to be very, like, internally dramatic.
Yeah.
You know?
It is.
I
Yeah.
just want Petra to stay around because she has really cute clothes. That gold
It's all about
dress
the
or that
clothes.
white dress she was wearing with gold lining. I was like, I need that.
She'll be around and she'll be around that mess.
Yeah.
She'll be around. She'll maybe even like go into prison and like still be around.
Actually-
That would be very telenovela if someone went to prison
Right?
and was still in the
Oh,
show.
Really?
Yeah.
It's still on the show. They just showed them
Soap
in
opera.
prison.
Yeah.
It's very soap opera-y. Okay. So she pretty much, how long have they been married? Did they say that? Because I know it said
I don't-
5
yeah.
years, she gets $10 million.
So they haven't been married 5 years.
Almost 5 years.
So
maybe.
it's almost 5 years.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Maybe like 4.
Maybe
4 and a
4.
half.
Maybe they're
Okay.
9 months away from 5
Yeah,
years.
I feel like
Seriously.
I feel like they're not that close
Okay.
to 5 years, just because she's kind of got a long-term plan, and if she was like 9 months away or 6 months away from it, why would you have a child? I'm sure there's other things you could do to stall.
Maybe she thought maybe 5 years is really close, and she like knew the divorce thing was coming, so she knew if she got pregnant, then he'd
There's
be
nothing you can get
obligated
out of it.
to
Yeah, at least child support.
stay through
Yeah.
the pregnancy because she was there when he was sick.
Yeah.
That
Selfish
was her stall.
women. Do we know
Selfish-
what city they are in?
That's what I was wondering. It looks
That's a good
tropical. I
question.
thought maybe like Florida.
Oh, I thought like LA.
I thought LA because of Petra. I was like,
Or
that looks
Miami.
like all the ladies out here.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
Miami because of
That's
the
what I was
clothes
thinking,
and the
Miami.
resort.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah, the way the hotel looks a little bit. That's possible.
We'll have to look.
Yeah.
Sick.
But yeah, Petra, I think she really needs to get a life and find Jesus. Yeah, we're like praying. I'm like, get a hold of yourself. She's just selfish. But yeah, I think if that happens, it'd be a different show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
no,
she
yeah.
can't.
She
Gotta
can't
She
have-
can't find
Jesus.
Jesus?
Nope.
Okay, she's going to
can't.
stay with the devil. Okay, that's
On that note, should we predict then?
What'd you say? Yeah, what's your prediction? We'll start with you. Prediction.
Oh,
And
me.
now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
So Jane's gonna keep the baby,
Yes.
but I'm sure there will be some complications or scares along the way. That would make sense. I think she and Raph are gonna end up together. But if we want this to be a show that continues for seasons and seasons, it's gonna be a roller coaster.
Right.
And I think that Michael has been up to something on the side. And I do think, another thing, I think Petra is going to be pregnant with Roman's baby.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good twist. I like that.
I think that she's going to be pregnant for a long time, not more than 9 months. I just feel like she's going to be pregnant for like 2 seasons. Because I just see that happening. And then
Not
it's just
like the timeline.
Yeah,
will
the
work out.
timeline
That's actually
is-
an awesome
Which
prediction.
would be very telenovela as well.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
It takes
I
like a
just-
week to get through a day.
Well, they're in Breaking Bad, she's pregnant for 2 seasons.
Yeah, sometimes people are pregnant for a long time on TV. It just happens. And I think that will make it the longevity of their season, kind of. Especially because we're at like conception right now.
Right.
So we have a while.
Maybe we'll get some flashbacks too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See,
Sure.
Maybe we'll actually find like a sympathy card for Petra. You know, like we
Maybe.
feel maybe there's something about her that makes her the way that she is, and we'll feel bad.
Oh, we'll see.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, like Millie, if you like, it's another Scandal
That's
reference.
true.
I watched
Yeah,
that.
I do
but, like,
too.
Millie.
Yeah, you're right. Because
That's
at
true,
first
'cause
people
we-
didn't really care about her having an affair or the president having an affair with
Because they
Millie
hated her wife.
Because they hated her. But that's how it was written. Like she
Yeah,
was kind of
to hate
like
her.
it was written to hate her, that she was like the conniving, manipulative
But she
wife.
is, but-
Yeah. But she is, but I think she did a lot of stuff for him to
Yeah,
get
she's given
him
up a
in
lot.
that position. So, yeah.
Yeah, because
I
she
also-
probably didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
She was
also
just digging
think
for gold. That's all.
that I think that Jane's father, the telenovela star,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that
We
he
didn't
has.
even talk about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that he has some kind of relation to her boyfriend or her fiance's family. Because I don't know, right when this is weird, but right when he
Fiance's
said
family
that,
or Raph's family?
fiance's family,
Oh.
which I know because they're white and her dad isn't. But I don't know how that would
Something.
fit in. There's something. I think that there's some kind of connection there, and maybe that's how it's gonna get weird. I don't know. I just like saw that right when she was because it happened.
interesting.
I don't know. It happened all kind of at the same time. She decided to bring up the father right when their whole engagement party was coming on.
That's
So I think
interesting.
that that's it. But yeah, I also think that her and Raph are gonna end up together. And
I think that's unanimous.
Or could he be Raph's dad too?
then they're really brothers and sisters.
That'd be the worst.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
I think that Jane is gonna have sex with Michael because we saw that a little bit. And I think that's she's gonna have sex because I think in her head she is gonna go. I don't want to have this baby before having sex. Like I want you to have sex with my body before, like how it is now.
Yeah.
Which is gonna be sad, and I think that's what's gonna bring the longevity because she's gonna hold on to this, and then we're just gonna see. I think that we're not gonna see Ralph and Jane. I think that we're gonna see them become super close, flirt, maybe not have it work out, and then just it blossom from there.
I think something's gonna happen to keep them from having sex.
Right, which might, but I think that it'll just be
Like
very.
morning
I think that they might have sex and then right away she'll find out what happened, what's going on with Michael, and then it'll be regretted.
That's no way to have a first time.
That is terrible. Yeah, because we did see her crying.
I think it'll be dramatic, like one thing after the other. Yeah.
And then Ralph will come and save the day.
Yes,
right?
he will. Okay. So,
Rafael.
Rafael. So I think the same thing. I definitely think she's gonna have. She's gonna have the baby.
Oh yeah.
She's definitely gonna have the baby. I don't want her to have sex because then it won't be Jane the Virgin because she won't
What if
be
it's
a virgin
more than
anymore.
one baby?
And then I was thinking that too. I was
IVF.
totally thinking.
Or you know what? You're right. Maybe
she's pregnant with
like
twins.
maybe she
Although
won't have
IVF
that.
would be different because that
Everyone.
means that the eggs, you have more than one egg that might attach itself. So maybe
We were
not,
talking
but
about
I'm
in
just
vitro.
saying.
Yeah, in
She will have the baby. I was gonna say, what if she loses it? But no, because then poor Raph, and then
Then he'll have more babies.
then yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she-
wait,
No
I
one to
don't-
give the hotel to.
I don't know if she could have multiples because she just releases one egg, right? And
That's
then
what I was saying,
goes
yeah.
away,
Yeah.
In vitro, they do.
Unless
couple
it's like
yeah.
one of
Yeah.
the ones that pulls apart, you know,
Right.
fraternal.
Oh, fraternal twins. That's possible.
My biological.
Or what
the
if
ones
she
the eggs
had
that pull apart.
Michael's baby
And
and
that's what I was thinking. I was like, if they actually have sex and then it's unprotected, could she get pregnant again?
yeah, give us
No.
your most far-fetched
That's not right.
scenarios.
Okay,
No.
that's pretty far fetched. But that's what I was thinking. I'm like,
That's a virgin ass question.
I know
to
that's a
ask.
virgin
That's a
question, right?
virgin.
Like, can she really drop
Unless-
another egg while she's pregnant? Is it possible? Who
Unless she
knows?
has like 2 uteruses, which I saw on an episode of Grey's Anatomy once.
Somebody
but-
had 2 uteruses.
Yeah, I think it exists.
Is
course.
that plural?
Oh.
Uteruses.
Uteri.
Uteri. Okay, I was like
2 uteri. This woman has 2 uteri.
2 uteri. Okay,
Sick. So
yeah.
pretty much our predictions conclude that this show is gonna be awesome. Yeah.
Yes, okay, so for me, social media, I'm Madison Chase Fitness. If you Google YouTube, I have my website, MadisonChaseFitness.com, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. If you Google Madison Chase Fitness, I'll come up.
She'll come up. And y'all can find me on Twitter at Stephanie Giorgi, Giorgi, as well as on Vine at Stephanie Giorgi, and on Instagram at SteffiG47. Woo!
You guys can find me on Twitter at Kristin Strange and on Instagram at Kristin Aubrey Strange.
You can find me at Giselle Ugarti, sorry, at Giselle Ugarte on social media, and also on Facebook, Giselle Ugarte Official. And I have a really cool contest going on right now for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You can win 2 awesome bracelets, so check that out.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited.
Good to go.
This
Love
is
y'all.
AfterBuzz TV, CW Network, Jane the Virgin.
Guard your cardinal treasures.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.